So I've had someone ask me, how do I know that I've landed in the right place? That being relative to seeking training that will advance you, whether getting into a business or expanding your business. I'm in the online education space. So how does that person know? And that's a really great question, because what can often happen, especially if you're a new person, you don't have a sense of context or relevancy. You don't know, for example, in the e-commerce space, that when you get exposed to, let's just say private label, which is definitely a more advanced, sophisticated level of sourcing for Amazon, you don't know, is this is where a beginner starts? You don't have a frame of reference or context. So what really helps is if you can get a bird's eye picture of that industry, hopefully in advance, where someone, and this is the thing, you have to know the odds are stacked against you when it comes to a marketing piece, because it's brilliant minds that then set up a business case to lay out the pros and cons, but they're going to do it in a way that is set up to favor it towards the business model that they're selling, okay? But to step back from that is the ease of application. You want to consider the risk that's involved, and you probably, again, you may know, if you're looking at private label, you probably have no idea of the risk involved. But where it lines up for you with a sense of business logic. So for example, I interviewed a gentleman yesterday. He's an investor, and he's looking at e-commerce businesses as a vehicle, an investment vehicle. And he told me, he said, prior to coming into your community, Ann, I had evaluated other training systems, programs, etc. And he actually was in one for a season. But he didn't get moving forward with it, because when he came in, he said, I went through the training and I could see that there were gaps, such that he would be left hanging, trying to jump from point A to point F, let's just say. And in that jump, you wouldn't have any clue of whether it was doing it right or not. And he kind of had the good sense to see that and make that connection and go. He backed out. He didn't move forward and invest and, well, put it into motion. I think he had bought the program, but he's like, I can't execute on it, too many gaps. So what, in this case, he was looking for a linear step-by-step projection, execution, I should say. Similar to, and this would be indicative, by the way, of a well thought out, someone who not only knows their knowledge, but they can distill it down into very small bite-sized pieces and not having those gaps. So similar in the sports world, which was my background 15 years prior to doing online training, is I was in the sports world, and I had a coach she wanted to take me from point A to point Z with nothing in between. And I was put into a place of literal physical endangerment. Whereas another coach told me, he said, and I was now going to become a coach, he said, if you're going to work here at my gym, you're going to work through and learn the progressions that I run my students through. I was like, you mean you believe in progressions? It just made so much sense. And I bought into that. So that kind of created a foundation for me relative to what would make for a sound learning process. Is it linear, step by step? Okay. Now, the challenge can be, though, when you're looking at evaluating and coming into a program and you don't have that advantage, right? So you could ask and inquire. So for myself as an educator in a number of realms, I'm very keen on that. And the reason I am is my mindset is toward maximizing the learning phase as quickly as possible so they can get to success. That's the reason why for me. The other aspect that's so integral is having a community, a support community, such that it's inescapable. We're in the 21st century. The big takeaway of that is we are moving so quickly and rapidly, no person can keep up with it fast enough. Hence the need for a community of like-minded people on the same path and journey who are wanting to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So I'm teaching and training in the e-commerce space is to come alongside other people on that journey. Well, that begs the question of how. What are the variances of what comprise a community, and one that is a healthy and conducive community that fosters what I try to achieve in my community is a network of business friendships. A network of business friendships. So I just heard that detailed and explained to me today with an interview with one of our students who has since become a certified trainer and coach. She just trained here at this event, and in her mastermind group, which was put together under our auspices, we wanted her to set this up. We helped orchestrate it because she's like, basically we are like a star creating platform. That's our goal, is to create stars. We want star entrepreneurs with highly successful businesses. We want star trainers and coaches. Anyways, all to say, in this network of business professionals, she said, we actually share what are our top producing products with each other in our mastermind. I had no idea they were doing this. And that's like the antithesis of what you would want to do in business is, you're keeping it close to the vest and you're going to share this with people. Well, this is their mastermind, which I call it's a brain trust. Napoleon Hill gives that definition of the harmonious people coming together in a spirit of harmony for an agreed upon outcome, which is the mutual success of each other. So there are, it's really the culture that is set up and the environment that makes it conducive to this very type of an outcome that just creates this. It's called a talent hotbed, from a book that I've interviewed the author. It's called The Talent Code, and that's what I like to do, is have this environment that's very conducive to creating talent, and that's a really unique environment that only comes along sometimes in a lifetime, only once, where someone would have the opportunity to work in that kind of very conducive environment to create that mutual trust amongst a group of peers. So how do you know? I teach people about listening to their gut, and actually for us, I wouldn't do a community if people weren't coming face to face. That became all apparent this past weekend. Because yes, we really form great friendships through the mastermind group. It's a private group forum, but coming face to face, we have deep, deep friendships that have forged out of this. So I guess I would say as a qualifier is, if there is not the ability for you to come together in a face-to-face environment, it's going to end up being woefully lacking. It's how I feel with my team. We've been masterminding after we finished off our 3-day event. Hands down, it feels like 100x work done, and more so brain gelling, brainstorming at hyper speed when we're face to face as compared to being in a Zoom call or a Skype call. So when does it feel right? You genuinely feel supported and cared for, and that you are being attended to in a way that is spontaneous, and you're not like just a number. You're just a number that was acquired through their sales process. What sets us apart, and I'm not saying this is not true of other communities, but what we are producing here, yes, helping members build a successful business, but we're developing successful entrepreneurs who will go through an evolutionary process as they move from, many come in as an employee, and become supreme business owners and entrepreneurs. These are just some of the dynamics that can help let you know you've landed in the right place. It used to be said, if you're not online, you're not in business. That's from like 15 years ago. All right, now it's that if you're not on Amazon, you're not in business.
Regardless of that big dream, you've got to build a foundation. You have to have a business that has cash flow.
You need more cash? Go out and source some more. Shove those products into Amazon. What's going to spit out the other end is profit. It's that simple, isn't it?
Then they start looking at it as This really is a system. So how can I add more to my system? How can I start to scale this?
That's why this is so integral, each pillar leading up sequentially to that long-term reliable business.
These are the real assets then that somebody who wants to buy a business, this is what they look for.
This is the brand launcher, the career launcher, the income launcher. It's a beautiful thing. And I know you're going to love what this can do for you. You're going to get a vision. You're going to get a vision to grow your business, to sell it for a profit, kind of show your pals, your friends, your family.
Yes, you can make $1 million just selling on Amazon alone.